Hi, my name's Emily and welcome to Sea Creek Patterns. In today's video, I'm super excited to share how to crochet this adorable little starfish. So this starfish is actually a really quick pattern to make, and it is actually a no-sew pattern too. So everything that you do is crocheted on, so there's no sewing that you have to, so no parts that you have to sew on. A couple of things I want to mention about this pattern is that this is an absolutely amazing pattern for if you're trying to use up some scraps of different colors of yarn. I had a little leftover scrap ball of yarn that I used for this starfish, and it worked great. In fact, the ball of yarn actually changed colors, and so I didn't realize it, but on the back side, then I just decided to make it purple because that's what the color of yarn changed to. So the front is pink and the back is purple, and then I did a really fun little accent color around the edge and for the little dots in the center. But you can do all kinds of different colors. So for this one, I did a teal color with blue accents, and then I did a little bit of a different design on the front. So you can do it however you like. And then here's another blue one. And so yeah, two things I want to mention before we jump into the tutorial is number one, you can adjust the playback speed. If at any point in the video I'm talking too fast or too slow, you can adjust the playback speed by clicking the little settings gear icon in the bottom right corner of the video, then click playback speed, and then you can either adjust the speed so I either talk faster or slower. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that I'll have the link to both the ad-free PDF and the blog post that is coming soon in the description box down below. So you can check the description box for those links and any other things I mentioned in the tutorial. So let's go ahead and jump in. Supplies that I'm using today is some Bernat blanket yarn, and this yarn, I'm not exactly sure what the color is, but I'll put a link in the description box down below. I'm hoping this will be enough yarn, but we will see. Then you also need some yarn for your edging, and I'm thinking I'll use this, although I might change my mind later and use a cream yarn. But I'll put links to both of these in the description box down below. Then you'll need some stuffing, of course, to stuff the body and arms of your starfish. You'll need scissors, and I'm just using regular scissors. You'll need a stitch marker, and I will put a link down below to my favorite stitch markers, but they are Clover & More stitch markers. They are absolutely amazing compared to any other brands I've ever tried. So make sure to consider getting Clover & More stitch markers. Then you'll need a darning needle, and this one has a really nice and large eye, which I really love. Then you'll also need a 7mm crochet hook, and this is a Clover & More brand crochet hook, which I absolutely love. I love the Clover & More brand crochet hooks, and I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I absolutely love their hooks. Anyway, and then one thing I wanted to mention is that this hook got a little bit discolored from some black yarn that I was using a while back, so please forgive the little bit of discoloration in the hook. Okay, so to begin, we are going to begin by making the bottom panel of, so here's the starfish. We're going to make the back panel of the starfish first, and then we're going to make the front panel. Then we're going to do some of the details, and then we're going to crochet the panels together. So this pattern is 100% no sew. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and begin with the back panel. And you'll want to begin by using whatever color you want to be your main color. So for me, that is this really pretty pink color of yarn. So I'm going to grab my pink yarn, and I'm going to grab my 7mm hook. And to begin, we are going to make a magic circle. So to make a magic circle, you're going to put the yarn at the base of your hand. Then you're going to wrap the yarn around going to the front and then going to the back. So like make an X shape. So you can see there's the tail we wrapped it around, making an X shape. And now you're going to flip that yarn to the, so flip your hand over to the top, and you're going to go under that first loop and grab that second loop. And you're going to go ahead and pinch and hold. And then now you're going to go ahead and, I prefer to chain one just to secure it, but some crocheters prefer to do no chain and just begin working in the rounds. So you can do whatever you prefer. And now we're going to go ahead and single crochet 6 into this magic ring. So to make a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook. So you're going to continue that, so 6 more times. So insert again, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through all 2 loops. And so now you're just going to continue that a total of 6 times. So we've done 3, and I'm going to just go ahead and do that for 5 and 6. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to go ahead and pull on this tail, and that should close your magic circle. So you're going to go ahead and pull. There you go. And we are going to begin round number 2. So for round number 2, you're going to single crochet increase in each of the stitches. So you're just going to begin by working into that very first stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into that top of that first stitch that we did for round number 1. You're going to yarn over and pull through. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So that's just another single crochet. Now I'm going to go ahead and place my stitch marker into that first stitch of the round. And now you're going to do one more single crochet into that same stitch. So insert again into that same stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through 2. So basically you're just doing 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that in each of the stitches around. So insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2, and you're going to do that then into the same stitch again. So insert, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to just single crochet 2 into each stitch around, and you should end up with 12 stitches. So you can see, there we go. Just single crocheting, increasing into each of these stitches. So there we go. Now we should have 12 stitches, so I'm just going to do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now you're going to put the loop back on your hook and tighten that. Okay, so now for round number 3, you're going to do a single crochet into the very first stitch. So single crochet into that first stitch where your stitch marker is. Move your stitch marker up. There we go. And now you're going to do a single crochet increase into the next stitch. So that means just 2 single crochets into that next stitch. And you're going to repeat 6 times. So you're going to single crochet in the first stitch, then single crochet increase in the next stitch, repeat that 6 times. So single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to single crochet increase into the next stitch. So just single crochet, increase, repeat that 6 times, or until you're done with the end of this round. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back. Alright, so you can see that I just finished round number 3, and to count the rounds, it's a little bit tough with this yarn, but you can see there's kind of the first, you can kind of feel it. There's number 1, there's bump number 1, number 2, and number 3. So now you should have 18 stitches at the end of round number 3, and we are going to continue on to round number 4 by making a single crochet into the first 2 stitches. So you're just going to make a single crochet into that first stitch, move your stitch marker, and then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch 2. So single crochet in the first stitch and then the next stitch. And then you're going to single crochet increase into the next stitch. So single crochet in the first 2 stitches and then increase in the next stitch. And you're just going to repeat that in each stitch around. So you're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches now, and you're going to single crochet increase into that next stitch. So You're going to repeat that repeat of single crochet in the first 2 stitches and then single crochet increase in the next stitch 6 times, and I will go ahead and complete round number 4 and I will meet you back. Alrighty, so I just finished round number 4 and you should have a total of 24 stitches. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to begin to starting the arms. So if you can see, I can lay that out, and that is what it should look like. It will curl a little bit. Don't worry about that. When we stuff it, it will just lay perfectly flat. So let me show you this starfish. So we did those 4 rounds, and now we're going to go ahead and start doing each of these little arms. So that is what we're going to begin doing. So to begin the arms, you're just going to single crochet into the first 4 stitches. So you're going to go ahead and single crochet where that stitch marker is. Then move your stitch marker up if you want. You don't have to, because at this point we're just going to be working in rows. So for row number 1, you just single crochet in that first stitch, and then you're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches, so a total of 4. So sorry, I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Single crochet in that first stitch of the round, and then you're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Now you're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work, and now we're going to go ahead and work back into those 4 stitches. So we're going to do a single crochet decrease over both of these stitches. So you're going to insert your hook, then you're going to yarn over and pull through, then you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch, so right there, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So now you're going to do that one more time for the remaining 2 stitches. So you're going to insert your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through, you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So like that. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And for rows 3 through 5, you're just going to single crochet into each of those stitches. So single crochet in that first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, and you should obviously have 2 stitches. So you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to do that for row number, this is row number 4 now. Then chain 1, turn your work, and row number 5, you're just going to single crochet into each of those 2 stitches. So now you can see, if you count from this side, it'll be a little bit more confusing to count how many rows you've done. But from this side, it'll be a little easier. So you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rows. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And for row number 6, you're going to decrease over those 2 stitches. So you're going to make 1 decrease. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now if you're struggling with any of these stitches that I'm showing you how to do, feel free to look up a YouTube tutorial for how to do any of these specific stitches, and there will be a really good tutorial that you can watch if you're struggling and need more help with any of these stitches. So now for row number 7, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're just going to single crochet into that 1 stitch. So super basic row. So now we finish arm number 1. We're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. And I don't leave myself a very long tail because I just like to leave the tails inside of this starfish. So when I crochet the edges together, I just leave the tails on the inside. So I don't need to worry too much about leaving in the tails. I normally like to make like 1 little knot and then have it on the inside. I'll show you about that. I'll show you that when we get there. So we finish arm number 1. Now we're going to go ahead and make arm number 2. And for arm number 2, you're just going to repeat exactly what we did. So row 1 through 7. And what you're going to do is you're going to, so you can see we worked out of this stitch. right there, you're going to skip one stitch and insert your hook into that next stitch. So you should have one stitch between each of these arms, except for the last one. The last one we won't have a stitch between, but I'll show you that when we get there. So now you're going to go ahead and grab your yarn, and you're just going to have the yarn kind of laying like that. So the tail on this side and the working yarn on over your hand, and you're just going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through. Now you're going to go ahead and chain one, and you're going to begin working rows 1 through 7. So you're going to single crochet into the first 4 stitches for row number 1, and you're going to single crochet into that very first stitch. So if I go back, I'll show you that a little bit more clearly. So we did a chain 1, which I'll go ahead and do. So we pulled up our yarn through here, we did a chain 1, and now you're going to single crochet into that very same stitch. So right into that same stitch. Then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and the next stitch. So single crochet into the first 4 stitches. Now you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're just going to continue with what we've already done. So decrease over each of these 2 stitches. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this arm and the next couple of arms, and then I will meet you back. So make sure if you don't know what to do, just go back a little bit. I'll have a little sections on the bottom of the video, and so you can just go back to the beginning of the first arm and watch what I did, and then repeat that for each of the next arms. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this arm and the next few, and I'll meet you back. Okie dokie, so you can see that I've done 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now for the 5th one, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and skip 1 stitch. So you can see we worked out with this stitch. You're going to skip that next stitch, and you're going to insert your hook into there. So skip 1 stitch and work into there. And what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat exactly what we did for all of the other legs, except, just so you know, you'll notice that when I'm working my 4 single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, that there's no stitch between these 2. So you can see that where I had my stitch markers, where I worked the first stitch of arm number 1. And so there's no stitch. So you can see I worked out this stitch and I worked out this stitch, so there's no stitch between it. And that just is naturally how this pattern worked up, and I noticed that it didn't affect the look at all. It looks very even, and so I don't worry about that. So go ahead and now finish working on arm number 5, and I will meet you back. Alright, so I just finished arm number 5, and this is what it looks like. It's looking super duper cute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside, and you can go ahead and weave in your tails. Let me show you actually how I like to do that. So what I like to do when I weave in my tails is I like to grab this tail, put it onto my darning needle, and then I like to just go, so this is the back side, because you can see my magic circles coming out of it and everything. And then this is the front side, because you can see that just looks like the front side of a single crochet, whereas this does not look like the front side of a single crochet. What you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and into the back side, you're going to make a little knot. So I like to just go under any little stitch I find, pull my needle through, but hold on to that little loop. Hold on to there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this tail through the little loop that I just created and tighten that, and there you have a little knot. And then all I'm going to do is you can cut this yarn if you want and then just include it in the stuffing later, or you can just leave this tail and just crochet, when you crochet around the edge, just consider this as stuffing. So let me show you one more time how I like to tie in, and I do the same thing for the top. So let me grab this and I'll show you how to do that. when I put the yarn onto my darning needle, I like to lay it over my thumb, and then I push that darning needle onto my thumbnail, grab it, and pull up. There you go. So now all you're going to do is you're just going to go, I'm just going to go through that loop. There we go. And then now I'm just going to grab a little loop, and as I'm pulling my tail through, I'm just going to hold my thumb around the loop, grab the tail, and tighten. But you can, of course, tie off however you prefer, but this is just the preferred method that I use, and it has worked really well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish weaving in all these tails, and then I'll meet you back and we'll continue on to the top panel. Alright, so I decided to just cut off the yarn when I weaved in my tails, just because it looks a little more neat, especially for this tutorial, but you can do it however you want. So now that we have the bottom panel done, we're just going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and start working on the top panel. So we're basically going to do almost the exact same thing for the top panel that we did for the bottom panel. We're just going to make it a little bit bigger. So to begin, we're going to put the yarn at the base of your fingers. Then you're just going to make, so you're making a magic circle again. So you're going to wrap the yarn around going to the front, wrap the yarn around going to the back, flip your hand over, grab the, go under the first loop and grab that second loop, pull that up, pinch and hold, release your fingers, and I like to unwrap it, but you can do however you want. And then you're just going to hold on to that with your finger in there and chain one. I like to chain one. You don't have to chain one. It's totally optional. So now you're going to do 6 single crochet into this magic ring, and because you did the bottom panel, you should know how to do single crochets. So 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to pull on that magic circle end to close that magic circle. And sometimes it gets a little stuck. Just pull on it gently because you don't want to break the yarn. Ask me how I know you can break the yarn. I've had that happen many times. So now we're done with round number 1. For round number 2, you're just going to do the exact same thing that we did for the bottom panel. So you're going to single crochet, increase into each stitch around. So I'm going to go ahead and begin working into round number 2. Grab my stitch marker. Oh, here's my stitch marker. So single crochet, increase in each stitch around, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this round, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I just finished round number 2, and for round number 3, you're just going to do the exact same thing you did for the bottom panel. So you're going to single crochet into the very first stitch, move your stitch marker, and then you're going to single crochet, increase into the next stitch. And that is the repeat that you'll follow for a total of 6 times, or until you're to the end of round number 3. So you're going to single crochet, increase in the next stitch, single crochet, increase into the next stitch. So single crochet, then single crochet, increase, repeat that total of 6 times, and you should have 12 stitches, or sorry, 18 stitches when you're done with round number 3. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish that, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I just finished round number 3, and I have 18 stitches. Now for round number 4, you're going to go ahead and single crochet into the very first 2 stitches. So I'm going to move my stitch marker, and then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to increase into the next stitch. So single crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then increase into the next stitch. And you're just going to go ahead and repeat that. So 2 single crochet in the first 2 stitches, then increase. You're going to repeat that 6 times or until you're done with round number 4. And I'm going to go ahead and finish round number 4, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I just finished round number 4, and you should have 24 stitches. Now for round number 5, and just a quick note, on this back panel, we did not do round number 5. We just did 4 rounds, and then we made the arms. So we are going to do a round number 5 for the front panel to make it a little bit bigger so that it'll have kind of the realistic leaning back look that a starfish actually has. So we're going to go ahead and continue on to round number 5. So for round number 5, you're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So single crochet into the very first 3 stitches. I'm going to move my stitch marker. There we go. And then single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So a total of single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then single crochet increase into the next stitch. And that is the repeat you'll follow a total of 6 times, and you will be done with round number 5 after 6 times. So single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then increase into the next stitch. So you'll go ahead and repeat that 6 times, and you should end up with 30 stitches, and I'll meet you back. All right, so I finished round number 5, and you should have 30 stitches. Now now we're going to begin the arms. So you'll begin right here into the first stitch. So we're going to begin by making a single crochet into the first 5 stitches. So single crochet into the first 5 stitches. I'm just going to move my stitch marker just for fun. So single crochet into the first 5 stitches, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and for row number 2, you're going to single crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. Then you're going to single crochet, and then you're going to decrease. So to make a decrease, you're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So then now you're going to single crochet into that next stitch, and then you're going to decrease over the last 2 stitches. So insert, yarn over, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now we're going to go ahead, chain 1, turn your work, and for rows 3 through 5, you're going to single crochet in each stitch. So for the next 3 rows, you're going to just chain 1, turn, single crochet in each stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick on camera with you all. Chain 1 and turn. So there we go. And so you can see we did so far 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I just finished those 3 rows of single crochet across, and you should have 3 stitches, obviously. Now you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to single crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches. So insert, yarn over, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So single crochet decrease, single crochet. Now you'll have 2 stitches. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and you're going to single crochet in each of those 2 stitches. So like that. Now you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and for row 8, you're going to single crochet decrease over those 2 stitches. So insert, yarn, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn, pull through, yarn, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that is arm number 1. So we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn and tie off. Now you're just going to repeat all that we did for arm 1 on all the other arms. So you can see that this is the front of our work. This is the back of our work where our magic circle tail is. You're going to skip that next single crochet just like we did on the bottom panel. So skip the next single crochet and go into the following single crochet. So you can see we worked into that stitch, we skipped 1 stitch, and we're going to work into that next stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and pull through, chain 1, and you're just going to complete exactly what you did for the first arm. So you're going to single crochet into the first 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet decrease over the first 2 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet decrease. So I'm just going to go ahead and work these next couple of arms, and then I'll meet you back. Alright, so as you can see, I finished the top panel. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that for this last arm, there will be a space between the last arm and the first arm. That's just at least how mine turned out. If you had like one less or one more stitch, don't worry about it. If you don't have one stitch between the last arm and first arm, don't worry about it. It'll just be the same as the bottom panel then, so don't worry either way. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to add some of the details. So let me show you what your options are like, and you can do whatever, you can get as creative as you like, but these are the details that I'm going to do around my little starfish. But you can do also something like this, where you do lines going up and then a little lines at the center and then little dots around the edge. So you can really do this however you prefer. So I'm going to do 5 dots around between my arms. And so I'm going to go ahead and first show you how to do that. So you're going to grab your top panel, and you're going to grab your 7mm hook, of course, and then you're going to grab your accent color. Now for each of these, as you can see, I used the same color that I was going to use for the edging around. It's totally up to you though, but you can see that I used this teal, and then did the teal around the edge, but you can do whatever you prefer. So to make the little dots, what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook. So let's see, this is round number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what you're going to do is you're going to, for the dots, you're going to attach your hook to round 4. So this is round 5, this is round 4. And I'm just going to attach my hook to the one that's the most centered with between the stitches. So that's about the closest I'm going to get. Yeah, the other one is kind of far off, so I'm going to call that one good. So you're going to put your hook around that, and this is the front side of your work. These are the front of the single crochets, and then these are the back where all your tails are at. So your front side of your work, top panel, put your hook around, and on round number 4, put your hook around the middle between the arms. Now, my yarn is color changing, and so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to join my yarn from the top right when the orange begins. But you can, obviously, if you're using a non-color changing yarn, it'll be a little easier. But I'm going to go ahead and join the yarn from the top. So here's my tail, here's my working yarn. I'm going to go ahead and pull through. Then I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to work right back into where we just worked. So I'm going to insert my hook again, and you can see I'm going to come out that same side. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and then pull through. And that is just simply a slip stitch. So it's like a surface crochet slip stitch. You're going to go ahead and cut your yarn. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and like that. I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through, tighten that, and now you have your first little dot. Now what I like to do is I'm going to just grab this tail that I just used to tie off, and I'm just going to put on my darning needle, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it to the back side of my work. So just about where I tied off, I'm just going to pull that down. So that will be hidden. And you can see that makes it look a little bit more neat. There we go. And then I'm going to grab this other tail, and you want to make sure it's not super floppy, which it seems like it's really nice already. So I'm just going to go ahead and go down from where that came out of. And then on the back side, all I like to do, and if you watched any of my tutorials before, you know that this is my favorite little trick. I like to just tie a little knot with these 2 strings. So just one, you don't want to pull too tight that it disappears, but you want to pull it a little bit tight. 1 and then 2 knots, just regular basic simple knots. So there we go. There is dot number 1. Now I'm just going to do that exact same thing for each of the, between each of the arms. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll meet you back. I'm sorry, one thing I just noticed now is for this starfish, you can see that I did the dots lining up with the arms. Now for this starfish, you can see that I did the dots right between the arms. So you can do whatever you want. And the same exact thing would apply. So if you want to do it between the arms, you do exactly what I just showed you. But then if you want to do it like between, in the middle of them, you're just going to go up to round 4. You're going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to put your hook around the centermost stitch and just complete exactly what I just taught you to do. So you can either do it in the center between, in the middle of your arms, or you can do it between the 2 arms. So totally up to you. I'm probably going to do it in the middle because I noticed that that shows a little bit more than when you do it around the edge. But either way, all right, so you can see that I finished these little dots. Now I'm going to show you how to do the little lines going up. Wait 1 second. There we go. Here's these little lines. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, at this point, you can do a 4.5 millimeter, do these little lines with a 4.5 millimeter hook or with a 7 millimeter hook. I personally, I think for this one, used a 4.5 millimeter hook, but then in my pattern, I wrote down that I used a 7 millimeter hook. So you can do whatever hook size you want. I'm going to show with a 7 millimeter hook for ease in this video because it's a little bit easier to, it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see. But if you want to make it a little bit smaller, if your 7 millimeter hook lines turn out a little bit big, you can always try using a 4.5 millimeter hook and they'll turn out a little bit narrower and you'll just do a couple more stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it with the 7 millimeter hook. So to begin, you're going to find row number 2 of the arms. So here's row 1 of the arms and row number 2. And what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into row number 2. And you're going to find about the center. So for me that's 1, 2, it's in the second stitch over. So 1, 2, and 3 in the second stitch over. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your yarn from the back side. So this is the back with all the tails. You're going to go ahead and grab your yarn, so yarn over and pull through. And now we're going to begin doing a surface crochet slip stitch working up. So you're going to insert then into row number 3. You're going to grab, so you're at the bottom of your work now, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through. So that's like a slip stitch, but a surface crochet slip stitch. Then you're going to insert into the next row, go to the bottom, yarn over, pull through, and now you're going to yarn over and pull, or sorry, just pull through. So insert your hook into the next row, and then you're from the back, you're going to yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to pull through from the front side. And then I'm going to do one more. So from rows 2 on your arm through row 7 is what I did for here. And it depends, if you're using a smaller hook, you'll need to do a couple more stitches. If you're using a bigger hook, you'll do a couple less stitches. But from rows 2 through 7 is what I did for this little line. So that is what you'll do. So it'll look something like this when you're done. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do the little center lines. So what you do for the center lines is you're going to start between round 1 and 2. So let's see, on here, you can see that I started at the base of round 2. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook at the base of round number 2. So like right there. So you can see there's row number 1. I'm going to insert my hook at the base of round number 2 or at the end of round number 1. Going to go to the back. You can see I have tons of tails. You're going to yarn over, or you're going to lay the yarn over your hook, so like that. and you're going to pull through. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to work up, and you're going to work from round basically 1 to up to round number 3. So you're going to go round 1 to round 2. That was round 1 to 2, and then round 2 to 3. And then you can go ahead and cut your yarn, and that is done. So now note that when I did this one, I did the dots, remember, between the legs instead of in the middle. So that's why, otherwise they're almost touching. But if you have the dots over here, then they won't be touching. So that is what you do for these little lines. And now we're going to go ahead and begin doing the edging around. So we're going to crochet both the front and back panels together. So let's go ahead and begin doing that. Now, just a little note. I had that, remember how I had that like about the size of ball of yarn that I said I hope would be enough yarn? Well, it was, well, I even had a little bit of yarn left over. So I had this much yarn left over, but what I didn't know is that this yarn is actually color changing. So the pink changed into purple. So I decided I ran out of the pink a little bit. It was all in the same ball, but I ran out of pink for both the front and back panels. So I decided to make an all purple back panel. So I have a purple back panel and pink front panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what to do now, and we will close off these 2 panels. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the back, the wrong side of your starfish facing you. So the side with all these tails. So if you look, here's the right side. You can see there's those nice, neat looking single crochets. So when you flip it to the back, this is the wrong side with all your tails. And then you're going to grab the right side of your work. So this is the back side. We don't want the back side. We want the back side of both of our panels facing each other. So they're going to be smushed inside by the front side of the top panel and the front side of the bottom panel. So hopefully that makes sense. So wrong side facing up, wrong side facing down, and you're going to place them on top of each other. Now you're going to grab your edging yarn, and for me this is that variegated yarn that we just used for these little dots. I like to start where I began round number 1. It really doesn't matter, but where I began where I began the first leg on the front panel, and then where I began the first leg on the back panel, but really does not matter at all. So I'm just going to insert my hook at the base, and this is, you can see, whoop, there we go. So this is the base of row 1 of the arm. So you can see I worked into that stitch to begin. So I'm going to insert my hook there. Then I'm going to insert my hook. Whoop, there we go. I'm going to insert my hook here. Yep, right here at the base of this stitch. So where my first stitch was, I'm going to insert my hook there. And then I'm going to go ahead. So we now have we're working through 2 panels. I'm going to go ahead and grab my yarn. And from here we're going to go yarn over. So lay the yarn on like that. And you're going to go ahead and pull that yarn through both of those panels. I like to chain 1 because I just feel like it looks more neat. So I like to chain 1. And now you're going to insert right back into where we just were working out of. So you're going to insert right back through there and through both panels. And you're going to yarn over and pull through. You're going to make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And now we're going to work up the arm. Now, the only thing to note is when you're working up the arm, you have 8 rows from your front panel, and you have only 7 rows from your back panel. So what you're going to do is, as you're working up the arm, and I like to do it at different spots as I'm working up the arm. So each of these, so as I'm working up and down the arm, I like to do it in different little intervals, so it doesn't look like there's a little, so you don't notice it. So I like to do at different intervals so you don't notice the little thing that we're going to do. So what you're going to do is you're just going to be working up the arm. You're going to go into the next stitch right here, and then you're going to go into the next stitch here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go, okay, I'm going to insert my hook. You're just going to do the exact same thing for the first stitch. So you're going to insert your hook in the front and back panel. Yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through two. So we're single crocheting up the panel. Now what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch on your top panel, but then into the same stitch on your back panel. And you're going to then just do a single crochet. So on your back panel, it looks like you did 2 single crochets into 1 stitch, but then in the front, it looks like you did 1 single crochet into each of those stitches. So now you're just going to continue working your way up to the top. Hopefully this is making sense as we're continuing to go along. So I find that when I'm working my way up, I like to do about 1, other than that little one, I'll call it increase, I like to do about one single crochet per row, just about. And if you have, it doesn't really matter how many stitches you have as long as it looks even. So for me, I am at just about the top, so you can see that this was that 1 single crochet that we had left on both the front and back panel. So I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch on both panels. And then I like to do 3 single crochets into the top of the stitch. And now it's totally up to you, but I like to just do 3 stitches into that top. So we're working into the front and back panels 3 times just to make it look nice and crisp. And you can see I did that here, and I just like how that looked. So that is what you're going to do. And now you're going to begin working down the side. So as I'm working down, I'm just pushing my little tails from the front and back panels inside, and you're just going to begin working down. So you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch. Then you're going to find that next stitch on your back panel. For me, that's right here. So front panel, back panel, and then that loop. And you're going to yarn over and pull through. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through too, just like a single crochet would be. So it's a little bit tough, but you'll get the hang of it, and hopefully I'm making sense. So now you're just going to continue working down. So insert into the next stitch and find that next stitch of the edging, make a single crochet, and then once you get at some point in your arm, you'll go into the next stitch of the pink and the next stitch of the purple. But then for the next stitch after that, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch of the pink, but not into the next stitch, into that same stitch of the purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and work my way all the way around. So making sure to skip one of the front panel stitches on each side of the arm, and then doing 3 single crochets into the top of each of these arms. And I'm going to go ahead and finish it, and I'll meet you back. Alright, I wanted to jump back on and mention 2 quick things. So number 1, I found that I'm doing about 8 stitches down, and then I have about 1 stitch at the base, and then 8 stitches up, then my 3 stitches, and then 8 stitches down. So that's about what the repeat I found. And then number 2 is while you're doing these arms, you're going to want to stuff your arms. So I like to just grab a tiny little bit of stuffing. Then I like to grab a chopstick, or you could use the back end of your crochet hook or whatever you want to do. But I find if you break a little chopstick, be careful to make it sure, be careful so you don't snag anything with it, but it really works super well. So all you're going to do is you're going to open up between your 2 panels, and you're just going to push it into the leg that you want. So I like to start with my finger, and then I'm going to grab my chopstick, my broken little end, because it kind of grabs it better, and you're just going to push up. So you're going to grab that stuffing and push your way up, and I like to stuff it as well as possible all the way down. Now I know that some people won't want to stuff it super well, and that's totally fine. You decide what you want to do, but I personally am a person that always loves to do a lot of stuffing to make sure things are always nice and stuffed. So that is what you're going to do all the way down, and you're going to do that for each arm. I like to complete 1 or 2 arms and then begin stuffing those 2 arms, and then as you're continuing working, you'll have to stuff the body, the main body part too, so right here. But yeah, so just continue working around the arms, then and making sure to stuff as you go, and then I'll come back, and right when we're close to getting done, I'll meet you and we'll finish stuffing this body, and then you will be done. All right, so you can see that I have done all of these, and I've stuffed all of the arms, and I also stuffed the body. Now you can see that I'm on my last arm, and what I'm going to show you how to do is, I haven't stuffed this arm because it's hard to stuff it and then try to crochet over it. So as you're working down, you're going to stuff it. So I just went up this side, then I went down, and I didn't finish because I'm just going to grab a little bit of stuffing, not very much, and I'm going to push that into the little tip right here. So I'm going to grab my little chopstick with the end broken off, and you're just going to push in a little bit and try to kind of stuff that little area and make it kind of pop out. So there we go. I just added that little bit of stuffing. Perfect. Now you're going to keep going down. So I'm going to grab my yarn. There we go. Got wrapped around. And I'm just going to begin working my way down again. So single crocheting down, and then as you're working down, you'll just continue to add a little bit more stuffing as you go. So I'm going to go ahead and move my stitch marker out of there, and it looks like I pushed a little stuffing out the back. There we go. So I'm just working down, and you can see that's where I began. So now I have just a little hole left, so I'm going to grab a little more stuffing, and I'm going to push it into there with my finger, and then I'm going to grab my little chopstick of sorts and finish pushing it into there. Trying to fill it as well as possible, but not having holes. And grab a little more, and there you go. And then I'm just going to kind of fill up this little bit real quick. And I personally am a little bit of an overstuffer. Like, I like to have my things really nice and firm, but I know that different people are different ways, so you can totally do this however you like. I'm just going to kind of add a little stuffing around at the base of the leg now. There we go. Push that in a little bit, and I'm going to call that good. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to finish those last like 2 single crochets. So I'm going to go through there and then through that stitch, make a single crochet, and now it's getting a little hard to show this on camera and just a little hard to do the last stitch or 2, but just there you go. And there's your last stitch. So we just finished the last stitch. Now I just like to slip stitch to the very first stitch to join. And then you can go ahead and grab your scissors, which my scissors seem to disappear, and you are done. So there you go. That is what your little starfish should look like. And at this point, you have finished your starfish. One thing to note is that when you're done and you're looking and feeling back through, if you notice that, like, let's say here, it's a little understuffed compared to all these other spots, I'm just going to grab a little more stuffing. And I just like to go from the top with my little chopstick because I've noticed that it doesn't leave much for holes, but it kind of fill up the little spaces that don't have enough stuffing. So I just find a little spot to work into. So I just went between those 2 single crochets right there. And it will work really, really well to get you just a little more stuffing if you like. So hope you enjoy that little tip, and your starfish is done. thank you so much for making this super fun crochet starfish along with me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also don't forget to comment down below and tell me what colors you made this starfish in. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. So thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!